We're live. Oh my God, we're live. Hello. So that's not Dallas. That's Austin from the Junkyard Jet. You know, I'm sure you're all familiar with him. And tonight's your chance to ask Austin stupid, embarrassing questions. Put him on the spot. He'll answer anything. It's
Sure.
John S. George Barney, you're number 2 in. Dallas is off tonight. Dallas has got 2 sick kids, so he dropped off his motor stand. Because they're gonna put their motor on Dallas's run stand. So I guess within the next couple of days they'll have that all set up and running. So Dallas couldn't make it tonight, so he's home taking care of the family. He's doing what he's going to do. But we're using the lovely AHRA studios, and let me take this jacket off. Okay. Yes. All right. Let's see. Jason's Garage, the Formula, Fubar the Axe, bro. It's Fubar.
What's up, Fubar?
There you go. Peter Kovacs, the Tony and Puddin Show. Wayne Buzzle, hello guys. You meet the nicest people in a Honda. You do. George, yes, I know you were number 2 tonight. Katie Best, what's happening, Katie? Katie is one of my old coffee house people. She was around at the grind here. The grind number 2 and number 3, right? The first one here in Tennessee, and then the second one. I don't know, Katie. It's all a blur. It's all a blur. Paul Capizzolo, John S. The Moto Noodle was great. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that, man. But it went nowhere. It went absolutely fucking nowhere.
It was so much fun, though. There were people yelling at us driving by.
Were they?
Yeah.
I was too in the moment.
The white Nissan Titan guy was like, "Get out of the fucking street!" It was so much fun.
Jason Fitch, can't sit next to dude on the couch even if you ride bike together. No, I don't sit with dudes on couches. I don't sit with. I do everything in my power to not sit in a car or a truck with a dude. You have no idea how I'm getting worse. As I get older, I'm getting worse.
The bike thing was a necessity, though.
We had to accomplish a job.
Yeah.
We had to, because I couldn't.
We both sucked it up.
I had the bowl of noodles, right? And I had to go up the road, I guess about a quarter of a mile. I had to go up the road, and I had to make a U-turn. And part of that U-turn was going to be on gravel and stuff. So there was no way I was going to be able to ride out there with the bowl of noodles, turn the bike around it. So that's why, so we did that.
And that was the first time I've ever been on the back of a motorcycle. Yeah. Ever.
But yeah, I avoid all close proximity contact with other males. This is even too close for me, but it is what it is. Two Hacks Garage says that Austin smokes a cigarette like my grandma. No offense, just saying.
That's okay.
He's cool with that. He's got the ultimate, he's got this like this force field that just protects him from all like trolling and shit like that. It's amazing. Cordell Darkling says, Peter Kovacs. Wait, in the right place. Mopar nuts. Jason Fitch, I can't hold a bowl of noodles. Let me add the biggest guy in the area.
What?
I don't know. The formula. Hey, Uncle Tony, quick question. My girlfriend is into coffee, and I know you had a method of your own, and I intuitively feel like it's applied to us best at the moment. Oh, God. In time, what equipment did you use? Okay, so when I was roasting coffee, and I used to roast, it's the Kick and Dell. What's happening, Kick and Dell? So when I used to roast coffee, when I started the coffee endeavor, I had this partner in the business named Joseph. He was an artist, okay? So Joseph created this, he used a bread maker, okay? He converted a bread maker so that it would run continuously at a certain speed, right? And then we used a heat gun. We used just like a professional grade heat gun. And that's how we would roast coffee, with this bread maker and the heat gun. And it worked flawlessly, but it was a home built contraption. They sell home roasting, in fact, we had used as time went on, we got commercial roasting, smaller commercial. We didn't wear a big roastery. We were just feeding one coffee house. So we'd go through, I don't know, 15 or 20 pounds a day, 25 pounds a day. So that's all we would need to roast. But we had gotten like a commercial grade small roaster, and we went back to the heat gun method because it worked better. It just made a better cup of coffee. Let's see. Nephew Austin. Adrenaline Channel. Wow, he does look like Bobby Hill. Bro, you're like the star of the show tonight. No?
Bobby Hill. I have longer hair than Bobby Hill. I mean, I can cut my hair short, and then it would. But close enough.
Mr. Will's Dying Breed Garage. I am the viewer formerly known as Mr. Will. Okay, why'd you change your name, Mr. Will? Silver Bell. Tony, I have an Edelbrock carb on my big block Chevy, and after it gets real warm up and it's in gear, the idle air-fuel ratio will fluctuate by like 2 full points, bad enough to make it buck in gear. Any ideas? Yes, I know exactly what's wrong with it. If you look inside, right, you'll see that there are 2 screws that hold the boosters down into the body in each one. Well, those screws are loose, right? Or the gasket underneath them is bad. So you try tightening the screws. If that doesn't do it, take the boosters out and change that gasket. Wadney, pros and cons to sleeving a 318 block. There's still so much a dime a dozen. Unless you have a bunch of work done to a block, it's pointless to do that. Sherry Farris, $10. Oh, that's John's mother. Okay. Hey Sherry. I thought you were going to come by here. What happened? We were expecting you to come by. I usually was going to lay out the red carpet for you.
She was in Missouri.
She was in Missouri?
Yeah.
Hey, UTG in Austin, you all are the best part of my Wednesday night. You guys stay safe in this weather. We are under about 2 inches of ice right now. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Somebody give my Austin a hug. I'm not touching him. Love, Mom. Thank you, Sherry. Well, get out of Missouri. There's nobody left in Missouri. That's a harsh place. Come to Tennessee. You'll love Nashville.
Cape Girardeau is nice. I won like $30 at a casino.
Did
there.
you?
Yeah.
Let's see. Paul Sims. Tell me Washington State here. I suppose now you're going to tell me that your friend there is the owner of the AHRA. No, Dallas is usually here on Wednesday nights is the owner of the AHRA. This is Austin. He's the owner of the junkyard jet car over here. But I got to go back. Sherry, what did you think? Did you see the video we did yesterday with? Did she see that?
Of the bike?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you see our video yesterday, Sherry, with John playing the professor?
John did great.
Let me tell you something. The best part of that whole video, and I've watched it now. I've watched this part like 20 times, is where he walks over with the phone and he's reading the noodle facts.
Just walks off.
That is the best part of the whole video.
The best part of that whole thing to me is that that's just how John is normally. So he wasn't acting at all.
John, well, hey, John, what's going on? Tony wouldn't hug a thief running away from his Hemi block to stop the theft. Okay, well, listen, here's the thing, okay? All right, so I've been known to throw the bro hug, okay? The bro hug is cool, but only under certain circumstances. Like it has to be after some sort of major accomplishment, but it has to be over very quickly, and then you never touch again. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you follow me? Just like, I'll shake your hand, but as I'm shaking your hand, understand that I know that you have touched your naughty bits with your hand. I am freaked out by that. So, but I'll still shake your hand anyway. See what I'm saying? So yeah, but no, I would just let him go. You take the block. I don't care. Go away. Right.
Well,
yes, you got to have hug rules. Yes, you do. Okay, let's see. You need the hug rules. Absolutely. What sounded to be UT in Austin, I haven't laughed as hard as I did when I saw you riding on the back of the bike. That was the hovering hand over the shoulder.
I was like, awesome. Look, I'm not like...
that video, man. That video is like, I mean, that's That was one. That's our best video. That's this channel's best work. That's the best thing we've ever come up with. And it didn't get any views. It's got like 12 or 13,000 views.
Yeah,
Nobody said, how has that video not gone viral?
it needs to go on Reddit.
It needs to go someplace, but nobody
go on
shared it. Nobody shared it.
r/motorcycles or something.
Paul Diamond, how are you? I'm doing great, Paul. How are you, my brother? Aaron Jermison, how is the Magnum engine build progressing? How is the Magnum engine build progressing?
It needs 2 freeze plugs and a set of headers put on it, and it's done. It's ready to run. We're hoping to get it on a run stand here in a couple days.
All right. Sherry is saying, I will be coming to Nashville for John's birthday, and hopefully I will get to come and see you while I'm in town. Yeah, absolutely. I did it. The boy wasn't acting.
No, he wasn't. That's just literally how he
It was perfect. It was perfect. That scene where I'm explaining the features of the bike, and he just walks over reading off the phone. It's just epic. It's perfect. Perfect. And he came up with that. Like I didn't say, oh well, do this. No, he like while we were discussing, that scene, right? He's looking up noodle facts on his phone, and he came up with it all on his own. It was perfect.
John has this wealth of just useless information, so that doesn't surprise me a bit.
Mopar Al, what's happening, Mopar Al?
What's
and
up,
you guys know Mopar Al. He's got his working on Slaghammer, and he's got his own channel called Mopar Al, of all things, right? You would think Mopar Al,
yeah.
And that's it. So if you're the professor. So if you're following the Slaghammer build, he's every day he throws up, or every other day he throws up a video, and he throws up every other day. He throws up too.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things. It's funny. But he'll throw up a video on the car. So if you're following Slaghammer, Mopar Al is the channel you want to watch. Let's see. Wayne Bosel, how is Bottle Rocket coming? That's for me to know. Steve Bico, what's happening, Tony? Is Bottle Rocket street legal? I don't know. It depends on what you consider to be street legal.
Are the tags in date?
I mean, to me, everything is street legal. To you may have a different definition of street legal, but everything is street legal as far as I'm concerned.
A traffic violation is just a fun bill.
Yeah. Let's see. Stefan Malazzo. Hey Tony, I love your videos and engine building tips. Have you ever had an interest in diesel engines? Stefan, unfortunately, no, man. I'm a spark plug guy, right? It's like you know what I'm saying? I don't have anything against diesels, but it's just they just don't do it for me. I wish they did. I respect the power they make. It's ludicrous, but it's just kind of a different universe. It's a different discipline. Diesels are more truck. See, some people gravitate towards larger vehicles like trucks and whatnot. You would naturally gravitate towards diesels. I gravitate towards smaller vehicles. I like motorcycles. I like scooters. I like little tiny things. So gasoline, and I guess that's why I never really got into the diesel thing. The Dirty Knobs, thank you, sir. Have to see Austin and Tony and Mopar out on bike eating. No, we've done enough.
Oh, no. I was treading the line between holding on you and falling off, and I didn't know which one I wanted to do.
Let's see. Jason Fitch, Tony, I ran into another UTG viewer at my kid's school concert. The only way to get an introvert to start chatting with a stranger. So what was he? Was he wearing like a shirt or a hat or something? How did you identify each other? You guys got to have a UTG gang sign. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be going like this or some shit. Right? Like that, and in this way, everybody can identify.
They both pulled up in 68 darts.
Right. You just have to have a 68 dart.
Yeah.
I don't have a 68 dart.
I thought the red one was a 68.
67.
67.
Mark T. Stock air cleaners. Any science behind them beyond the trapdoor? It's funny you should bring up air cleaners because that's something that we're actually working on a video about. Air cleaners. Let's see. Let's see. Overkill. What do you think the best classic engine was? That's such a broad question. So if you take every criteria into account.
Mhm.
Okay, so performance, size, viability, availability of parts, hot rod ability, versatility, right?
Mhm.
The small block Chevy.
Oh yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
falling out of trees, everything from O'Reilly's pretty much fits them.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Overkill. So yeah, if I had to answer that question, what do you think the best classic engine was? The small block Chevy. Olive, what's happening? Olive, how are you? Okay. Oh, we got a super chat. Wait. Okay, Tony, what is the heaviest vehicle currently in your fleet? My record, it's 8,800 pounds. Jonathan Cauchy, thank you for the super chat, my brother. Hello, Tony. Finish your 426 Hemi for Bottle Rock again now. 318. All jokes aside, I'm just about done porting the heads up for my 318. I need to make the bowl throat bigger. Currently at 83%, want to be at 87%. Bro, I couldn't tell you percentage wise. I have never ever ported with a flow bench. I've never done anything like that. I port by contour, by a line of sight. I've never worried about the bowl, the throat rather. I can't tell you scientifically what the best people like David Vizard could. I can't. I port intuitively. Does that make any sense? I port by intuition.
I'm just not good at math.
Math.
It's too difficult.
It's pointless. Completely pointless. Let's see, Olive. Not much UT. Busy day. Probably should work some eating in here tonight. Yeah. I'm kind of hungry too, actually. Let's see. Art the Fiddler. To me, classic means 1960 or older, but I guess it could mean any cam in block 2-valve per cylinder. I guess. David Harvey, thank you for the super chat. Canadian super chat. Oh. Spent the night putting in rod bearings and polishing crank in my 1989 Civic from the bottom after spinning a bearing. Coming upstairs for the live kept me motivated to stay moving. Excellent. Hey, did you check that crank before you polish it? I mean, spinning a bearing. You see, sometimes you'll spin a bearing. You'll get lucky when you spin a bearing. You'll get lucky if the motor seizes. Right? If the motor is locked up after you spun a bearing, you can almost always guarantee the crank is in good shape. But if it keeps running to the point that you got to knock, then you may have issues. You did check to make sure the journal wasn't egg shaped or anything like that before you just polish it up and put a shell on there, right? Let's see. Mike Harrington, Tony, can you comment on magazine Chevy bias through the 1990s? If you go back to the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and 90s, there were 3 Fords, or rather, there were 3 Chevys for every one brand X. So brand X would be Mopar, Ford, AMC, anything, right? There were 3 or 4 Chevys being done. So it's not so much that the magazines had a bias, it's that the whole culture had a bias and the aftermarket had a bias because the Chevy was used in every form of racing successfully. Every manufacturer had Chevy parts up the wazoo. That was where their engineers were all brought up on Chevys. All of their formulas were based on Chevys. And so it's not so much that the magazines were trying to push Chevys at the cost of featuring everything else. It's just that the Chevys just simply outnumbered everything. It's different now. The 5-liter Mustang changed that. The 5.0 was the thing that tipped the balance and kind of like made brand X Ford being brand X. You remember, you go back to those days. You go back to the 70s, the 80s. Nobody messed with Fords. People bought Fords new, and then they got halfway through hot rodding them, and they'd stick them on the side of the house and leave them there until they either junked them or they got passed on to somebody else. Nobody messed with them. The 5-liter Mustang is the thing that made the rise of the brand X. And at the same time that happened, the Mopar movement started. If you go back to the 70s, Mopars were obscure. There were like 5 of us, right? We would spot each other from across like crowded parking lots and go running with our arms open, brother Mopar, right? You don't know how sparse it all was back in those days. We were the oddities. So that's, you talk about magazine bias. The magazines were just reflecting the market that was out there. Tom Hughes. Oh, hey Tom, what's going on, brother? Austin, what trans did you guys choose for the jet?
It's an A833, 4-speed.
Just a regular 833, right?
Yeah, out of a B body. So it's had to be adapted quite a bit. So, but yeah, just a 4-speed.
Happy Hermit 68 just scored a 69 318 short block for $20. It is cherry. You win some, lose some. Shame you didn't get the heads with that. Those heads are great. Let's see. Overkill. Where have you learned all of your engine knowledge from? I loved classic cars and trucks. I'm just not sure how to learn other than experience. But I'm 13, so I can't afford to work on cars yet. Whoa. Oh God! See, okay. So when I was 13, man, I was building gravity carts. I'm from Staten Island, so we had like big hills. So we used to build gravity carts. We put ball bearing carriage wheels on these 2x4 frames, and we'd race down the hills. Depending on your situation, man, you can get a mini bike, you can get a go-kart. There's lots of different ways you can get your hands on an engine to figure out how it works. Worst comes to worst, the lawnmower, man, a gas-powered lawnmower. It's all those principles are the same. Watch videos. Watch as many videos as you can about how engines work. There are so many animation videos out there where they'll show how the 4-cycle works, or the 2-stroke works, or how valves open and closing. Watch all of these animation videos. What you learn with your hands is good, but what you learn how things work, right? That's what's really important. And there's no reason. You're at 13, you're prime time, man. When I was 13, I was always reading car magazines, constantly. I would absorb any automotive information I possibly could, and you should be doing the same thing. Let's see. 13 lawn tractor pulls. Depends on where you are. It just depends on where you are. I was in New York City. There were none of those things available to us. Let's see. Lots of kids started on Briggs and Stratton lawnmower engines. Yep.
I play with my go-kart.
What was it?
It was just a go-kart. I had it when I was like 6 years old.
Okay.
And I crashed it under a boat trailer.
Nice.
Didn't have a roll bar. And then immediately afterwards, it got a roll bar. And then I just messed with that. And then I had a 4-wheeler. So just, doing like little spark plugs and stuff. Just that kind of stuff.
And you weren't killed on it?
No, I was fine. Yeah.
This is important. Throttle watch. When I was a kid, I hung around people who played with engines, asked a lot of questions. Yeah, the guy who lived across the street from me, his name was George Holly. Holly, right? He was. I guess he was in his maybe he was 40. I was probably about his age, about 12, 13. And he used to work on the neighbors' cars. And the other kids in the neighborhood were playing sports ball and doing all that kind of thing, right? Sports ball,
Yeah.
And I would be in George's driveway, scraping gaskets or wiping down parts or handing them tools or whatever it was, just so that I could be around cars. You know what I'm saying? Around tools, around. Most older guys won't mind you hanging around and asking questions as long as you're really making yourself useful. You know what I'm saying? So if you just, you're a kid, you're 12, 13, 14 years old, and you're going to hang around a shop, right? Or somebody who's working, right? Don't be in their, don't be in their hair, right? But just always be just cleaning some, just doing some, always be in motion. And as long as they see that you're making an effort, you know what I mean, they'll accept you and they'll answer your questions and they'll teach you things, you know what I mean, as they come along. But you have to make yourself useful to them. Michael Grayson Campbell, thank you for the super chat. Do you have any tricks for spark plug when it doesn't want to screw in? Ooh. Gen 1 small block Chevy, thanks. I'm a neighbor to the shop. Love the channel. I guess you're one of our neighbors. Well, I tell you what, if you're a neighbor, I have a tap, Michael. I have a spark plug tap. Remember that tap I told you to cut the end off of?
Yeah.
Did you cut the end off of it?
No.
I have the tap for that thread. If you want to use it, I'll leave it in the mailbox. And just clean up your threads, and you should be able to screw the spark plug in it. Let's see. Start as a parts cleaner. Yep. John Radigan, Uncle Tony, are cherry bomb glass packs bad flowing mufflers? They're not good flowing mufflers. I will use, and I have used on occasion, cherry bomb header mufflers, just because, right? If you're not going to bother with, okay. So if the purpose of the muffler is just so that you can get the car from point A to point B, then the cherry bombs are awesome. They'll work, right? But they're not good flowing. They're not. It's not a good exhaust, right? So if the purpose is to get from A to B, and you're going to drive it to the track, and you're going to take the cherry bombs off, and you're going to bolt on a set of collector extensions, they're perfect. They're the ultimate thing. But if you're going to build an exhaust system around them and expect it to flow, no, don't. That perforated tube causes all sorts of like weirdness, like flow disruptions and shit. And so no, they don't. Not good for that.
What about what about their chamber mufflers like the M80s? Because I've got 2 of those on my car on the polyhead.
Okay. So for your purpose, it's a small motor with a larger size exhaust, right? You got like 2.5-inch exhaust.
Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah, it's okay. They're not going to really hinder performance because you're not putting a ton of atmosphere through there. But if you're going to start, let's say you were in a 400 cubic inch engine and you're going to go to 6,500 RPM, 7,000 RPM, you're putting a huge amount of atmosphere through, and it has to have a clear path out. It has to have a smooth and restricted path out. So that's where a performance, not a performance sounding muffler, but an actual performance muffler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, for what your application, anything will work.
Well, mine doesn't have the glass packs. Mine's got the chamber muffler, the M80.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know if there's a difference there.
The chamber muffler is just the exhaust comes in like this, goes like this, and then goes out again.
Okay.
Right? That's better than the perforated tube one.
Yeah.
Right? But still not
as good.
Yeah, there's all different grades of muffler.
Okay.
Are you happy with it?
Yeah, it sounds good.
That's what counts.
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh God, this is going really fast.
Flying.
Yeah. Deborah Morgan says the mufflers off of a 1959 International Farmall Super M tractor are the best flowing, best sounding mufflers ever made by man. They might be. I don't know. Oh, this is a great question. Auto 1303, Austin. Okay. How has your automotive knowledge improved over the last year?
I'm way less scared to do things that I was scared to do before. So I've learned a lot. I couldn't really tell you how much I've learned, but I'm a lot more comfortable doing stuff than I was a year ago. That's for sure. Because even when I was working on my polyhead, I was worried about just breaking stuff. Like I had a basic understanding of mechanical work, but I've learned a lot more since then now.
You have no fear anymore.
I don't have fear anymore. If I break it, I figure out. Yeah, if I break it, figure out how to fix it instead of panicking and then forgetting about it for a year.
I want to take partial credit for that.
No, you can take the whole credit.
The whole credit?
Yeah.
John Goldburn says you've learned enough to be slightly less dangerous.
Oh no, I was still slinging around a sawzall, so that's
On
still
fire.
dangerous. On
On fire.
fire, whatever.
Steve Byko wants to know, Tony, where is Mr. Buick? Dallas is home taking care of sick offspring. His kids are sick. So he's doing the dad thing, and Austin is, I think he's here.
I came to help get the run stand, but it was already in.
Yeah, he's got, so they're going to put the Magnum on the run stand. And no, okay, so you're going to try to get that hooked up tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'll be busy.
You'll be busy.
Yeah, but we should be able to this weekend.
Okay. Well, remember we got the live.
Yeah, live, but after all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barrow's Garage. The fear is what kills so many projects. Good job on that, Austin. Absolutely. Apprehension, man. Apprehension is it's the worst. You know that saying, you snooze, you lose, right? That applies to everything in life. You know what I mean? You have to lunge, right? You have to lunge. Fear makes you snooze. It makes you hold back.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like when zero fucks are given. Excuse my YouTube French. I know I've kids watching this. I try not to curse. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy. Apprehension is fear of breaking something or a failure or whatever. It's the ultimate enemy of progress. You just send it, and whatever it is, it's going to be. You know what I mean? Whatever it's going to be. And I've gotten to the like okay, I engineer everything for accessibility, right? So that let's just say I put an engine together, right, and I okay, perfect example, right? I'll build, and I actually did this, right? I built a 413 that ended up in a friend's car, right? So he had no money. It had stock pistons. So what I did was I sent the block out to be cut so that it would have just positive height. Okay, so I had the pistons 10 up, and then I had closed chamber heads, 67 closed chamber heads. So rotating the motor around, it was fine, right? I had where the piston was just barely touching the head, right? Because there's this old saying that says, if the pistons aren't hitting the heads, you're leaving power on the table. So I wanted to test this. I wanted to test this theory. Well, I wanted to test this theory. This is years ago, right? So I had the pistons about 10 up with the steel shim head gasket, okay, and rotating the motor by hand, it was fine. And then starting the motor and running the motor, it was okay, right? Like you could barely make a noise, barely hear a racket. But when you revved up to around 3,000 RPM, then you go, because all of the pistons were beating up against the heads.
Clearancing themselves.
Well, I took the heads off, okay, and I sanded down the part of the piston that I just took some sandpaper, right? Yeah. Okay, put it back together again. What did I have to lose other than a couple of hours of screwing around with?
Yeah.
Zero, right? It was like a throwaway motor, right? But this thing ran like a beast, an absolute beast.
Yeah.
That's why I build things the way I do. I build them as simply as possible, as cheaply as possible, with parts that are as common as possible. So if I want to experiment with something, if I was to look at a piston and say, I want to see what happens if I gas port this thing, I don't want to have to think twice about it. I want to take that piston, chuck it up in a drill press, and just start drilling holes in a fucking thing without giving it any thought, because I don't care. It's a $12 piston, or it's one of a pile. So it works, to me, that's where the fun is, and that's why I stress accessibility when you're building, you're laying out under your hood, right? To me, accessibility is everything, because if, let's just say you're experimenting, you want to screw around, right? If you've got to take all of this stuff out of the way, if it's a major project and you got to, to get in there, it's a drag and you won't want to do it. But if it's just a simple matter of, 8 bolts, the intake manifold comes off, this comes, you know what I mean? And you dive right in there and you don't mind experimenting. You know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
it changes the whole mindset. It makes it pleasant to work on. That's why white painted engine compartments, paint it white under there, stick some chrome and some bling so that when your face is in there, it's like you're in a happy place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It looks like jewelry, and you'll want to be there. You'll
Yeah.
want to work on it. You see what I'm saying?
That's the biggest difference between why I work on my polyhead, but I won't work on my Grand Marquis. Like,
There you go.
it's a
Exactly.
nightmare to work on that car. But the Plymouth, it's fun. I like working on that.
Mr. Will's Dying Breed Garage. I'm diving in with my new channel inspired by Tony. Maybe I'll get to the Non-Name Nationals. Mr. Will's Dying Breed Garage. Go over there and check out Mr. Will's Dying Breed Garage.
Is there a bunch of AMCs?
Yeah. It's Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage. Andy, I saw the video you put out today. That motor is so beautiful. I'm actually going to make a video like that too. So yeah. Okay. Tony China rant. No.
You already ate noodles this week.
Sean Fagan says, I have Playboy centerfolds all over the underside of my hood. Do they even still have that? Do they still make that magazine?
Yeah.
Do they?
Yeah.
Jesus. Joe K, this is why I need to build something cheap and grungy. If I put too much money into a car or it's a nice, clean car, I'm very reserved. Exactly.
I'm pretty sure if the jet blows up, I'm just going to set it on fire.
Jethro Hull, Tony, do you know anything about the Tarantula Intake? Yeah, those were good intake manifolds. I never actually used one myself. I never installed one or anything. That was that, what the Tarantula was, right? There was that twisted, it was a big block Chevy intake manifold.
And it like twisted the carburetor
Right.
by 45 degrees.
Yeah.
That was to get like longer runners, wasn't it?
It was because the big block has some weird distribution. It's set up 5 and 6 for some reason. I'm sorry, did I say 5 and 6? 5 and 7 on the Chevy for some reason have more of a distribution issue than other engines that have that same 18436-572 firing order.
Mm.
For some reason, the Chevy is more sensitive with that. And it was one of the big reasons why Chevy top fuelers never worked, because number 7 was like was a bomb. Number 7 was a bomb. But even on a gasoline carbureted motor, there's a weirdness to the distribution on that. And the Tarantula, the idea of turning the carburetor side, diagonal in the Tarantula was to help even out that distribution.
When we put the polyhead in my Plymouth, we had an issue on number 7 too. It would just foul out the plug. I don't know if that is there some kind of reason that happens, but we changed the carburetor and it stopped doing it.
Well, most of it has to do with the firing order, the way fuel is okay. In the intake manifold, you've got pulses. Okay, and those pulses, because 5 and 7 happen one after the other, the pull to that corner of the intake manifold
because
is
they're
stronger.
pulling to the
right.
It's already pulling. From
they're all sharing from the plenum, but
Yeah.
because those two are sequential, boom, boom,
Yeah.
right? They get the lion's share of the heavier droplets, and so that's why you would have more of a tendency to foul number 7 than you would any other cylinder with a fat carburetor, something that's set up too rich, right? On, like, for instance, on a supercharged motor, something that uses a big open plenum on a supercharger, it's actually number 6 that's the liability, because 5 and 7 take the lion's share of the liquid fuel and they leave number 6 lean.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
So it depends on the configuration of the intake manifold. By the way, I just make this stuff up as I go along. I actually don't know what I'm talking about, but it's convincing. It's convincing, right?
I'm convinced.
There you go. That's all that really counts. Striker 1553, RD350 guy, R5, man, R5. But yeah, I much respect for the RD350. Last time, sent crank back to builder, had something in the middle bearing and springs coming. Yes. How can I prep while I wait? Oh, bro, I don't know. I mean, don't you have another bike? You can't have just one bike. Go get on your other bike or prep by going to buy another bike and get out there.
That's the proper solution.
Yes,
Just
always
buy another one while you're waiting.
always have another bike. Jethro Hull, thank you for the super chat, my brother. Thanks, Tony. I just finished installing the Tarantula on a 402 with an 850 and smokes the hell out of the tires. Thank you, sir. Yeah, no, you know what? And too, it's the coolest looking manifold, right? Seriously, I was always jealous. As a Mopar guy, I was always jealous of us. It's the coolest looking manifold.
I've never seen one in person.
Really?
Yeah.
They
I've
were
only
very
seen pictures of it, and I was like, "What the hell is that?"
in the 70s. Everybody with a big block had one.
Yeah,
that was
Did Edelrock? Was it called? Did Edelrock make one and call it the Torker, or is that something different?
That's a conventional place.
The Torker is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Tarantula is the only one that had the carburetor mounted diagonally.
That shows my knowledge. I can tell you all about land.
Let's see. Ronnie Contact. My B body slant has a 9.25-inch clutch. Can I fit a larger one in my aluminum bell housing redraw flywheel? You might be able to get a scalloped 10-inch clutch for that. But I tell you what, okay. You would have no, you have nothing. There's nothing that's going to fit that bell housing. You would have to go with the taxi cab style bell housing. You couldn't use a truck bell housing because the truck bell housing has a mounts on the bell. It's a whole different setup. But if you're going to stick with the car stuff, no. To get the bigger flywheel, you'd have to get like the taxi package, and that's a big cast iron bell housing with a 10.5-inch flywheel and a direct drive starter. I mean, other than that, man, you may want to call a couple of clutch manufacturers and see if they can maybe custom make you something. But why do you want to go bigger? Just increase the spring pressure on a 9.25-inch that you have. David Tristan, thank you for the super chat. Got crazy with Hone and top of bore is 10 thousandths over now. Got a 5 thousandths piston clearance in the hole, ring gap at 35 thousandths. Do you think it will ship at 10 psi? I don't, bro. That is a really, I don't know what you're saying. You got 5 thousandths piston clear. Okay. If the top of the bore is 10,000 over, then you definitely have more than 5 thousandths piston clearance, because that would mean that you had 0 piston clearance before. So you're probably at like 8 or 10 thousandths piston clearance, which is at the larger size, but it's fine. You'll get away with it. 35 thousandths gap. How big is the bore? 35 thousandths gap. It would have to be like a 4.5-inch bore to you're talking about 10 psi. You gotta have a real, David, I don't know, bro. And when you say the top of the bore is 10 over, what the hell is the bottom of the bore? Unless the bottom of the bore is an equal 10 over, you've got a tremendous amount of taper, and that engine will not run. I mean, it won't make any power. And if it does, it's breaking itself.
It just reminds me of that one cylinder on the Magnum that had to be honed for 6 hours almost.
But you measured it top and bottom, and it was even.
It was fine. It just took forever.
Mm-hmm. Two Hacks Garage, thank you for the super chat, my brother. Tony, what's the time and day for the live this weekend? Thanks, brother. Okay. Saturday evening, about 6 o'clock or so, we'll put we'll start putting the engine itself together, and then Sunday morning we'll figure around 10-ish Central Time. We'll stick it in the car, make all the connections, everything, get it running, and take it out. And so, excuse me, but Saturday evening, around 6-ish Central Time, we'll start the live. Bill McKiska, thank you, sir. Best engine and drivetrain to start with for a homemade do-anything tractor vehicle.
A tractor? Are you talking about like to pull stuff, like to pull other stuff, or just like an actual?
I think that's what he's saying.
Tractor, like tractor, as in like a truck pulling stuff, or a tractor.
do anything tractor vehicle.
360.
I don't know.
Something that'll pull something.
Be a little more specific. I tell you what, I don't really build. I don't build tractors, man. So I don't have a quick, easy answer for you. But I know for sure there, out of the 340 people that are on here right now, there's at least a few that have an educated opinion on what would make a good all-around tractor motor. So if anybody has an opinion for Bill here, throw it in there. Unity Motorsports, Plan Z is going to be a ripper. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. A lot of people thought that. So I said in the video we did yesterday. Was it yesterday? I don't know. It's all one day to me now. That I want to take. I'll take it out 2 or 3 times and get it sorted out, and then pass it off to somebody else. People thought when I said that I'm getting rid of the car. I'm not getting rid of the car. I just want somebody else to take it to the track. I don't have time. I don't have the inclination to take it to the track. I just want to get it dialed in and then have somebody else. Like maybe if Austin loses 100 pounds, have him take it to the track.
Fat chance.
Yeah, see, so that's not going to happen. But yeah, I didn't mean to say that I'm getting rid of the car. The car's staying here on the channel. I just don't want to take it to the track. I want somebody else to take it to the track. Chris Freemason, make sure you have plenty of copper coat for this weekend's end. No, I'm using a composite gasket, man. No copper coat necessary.
I think he's talking about when we put the Hemi together and then copper coat got thrown around for like 20 minutes.
Oh, right. That's right. Mike Batista. He's on here all the time.
Yeah. I think it was him that said it during the Hemi build too.
Yeah, he was the guy that was busting our chops with
the copper coat.
He started as a troll and ended up as a regular.
I just want to point out that joke gets thrown around every day that we're here. Copper coat everything.
Let's see. 304, checking 2 hacks. Okay, 2 hacks is getting some traffic here. Peter Kovacs, does Kathy drag race? Not really. She tried bracket racing a little bit. She had fun with it. She did good, but we just was so busy. There's just no time. Let's see. Paint drying video. No, paint's already dry. Indian head copper coat. No, I use oh God. The hell's it anyway? Permatex.
Yeah, Permatex.
Jordan Francis, UT, can I use flat solids in a cam that says it's for hydraulics? I really like the thumper cam profiles, but I hate hydraulic lifters. Yeah, there's the difference between a hydraulic cam and a flat top cam is the approach to the ramp, right? And for the life of me now, I can't remember what the hell it's called. What's it called? That little step that's on a mechanical cam.
You talking about how like it's crooked?
No, on the lobe. There's Tom Muse, Mr. I know I know the answer to everything. Tom, what do you call that little step on the cam? Not the flank.
The lobe?
The clearance ramp. Thank you.
I would have never known that.
I'm telling you, here's the problem. This stuff goes in the head and then other things push it out. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I couldn't.
It's like a hard drive on a computer.
So thank you for that. So yeah, the clearance ramp, lash ramp, it's not a good idea to it's okay with rollers. You can get away with it rollers. It's not a good idea to do it with a flat top. I would not. Fast thing, there's only so much room in there. Oh, don't I know it? Jason Fitch, Tony, to answer how I was able to ID the UTG viewer was from his UTG lid. Okay, cool. Right out to lunch. Is the cheap 318 shootout versus Dulcich going to happen? Nothing is going to happen between me and Dulcich or any of those other Motor Trend people. It ain't going to happen. I don't want to have anything to do with any of them. Let's see. Tony, mine is on dial-up today. He's talking to his brain. Yeah, that's how I feel about it. Like my head is on is like dial-up. I was like, Screwhead Jungle. Will a oil feed hole on a solid roller lifter facing the oil gallery cause any problems? Let me read that again. Will a oil feed hole on a solid roller lifter facing the oil gallery cause any problems? On a solid? No, no, I don't think so. I don't see how it would. Frosty the Iceman 79. No red oil, no hydraulic lifters. I swore off when I was a kid. I swore off all pink fluid.
What?
When I was a kid, I swore off all pink fluid.
Transmission fluid?
Yes.
You saw off?
I swore off.
Swore off all.
I said this is probably. I was in my 20s. I was in like my teens and early 20s.
So you like no big red soda or
no on my cars.
Or just in your car.
My cars.
Okay.
No red fluid or pink fluid.
So what did you do about transmission fluid?
Manual everything.
Okay, so
manual steering, manual brakes. I'd rather manual steering, manual trans. Nothing that would take training fluid.
Was there a particular reason?
I felt that those things were wasteful. They offended my sense. When I say they offended my sensibilities, I mean like I was a little bit fanatical
about
when I was young.
But red fluid?
Yes, because in my mind, anything that took red fluid was wasteful.
Am I having a stroke?
No.
Okay. But why?
Because anything that used. Oh.
Isn't it red because of the detergents?
Hang on, Mr. No. Red. It's number 5 mineral oil. Okay. Or number 3 mineral oil. Doesn't matter. Automatic transmission fluid. I swore off anything that would take automatic transmission fluid.
Oh, okay.
Because I felt that anything that would take automatic transmission fluid was wasteful.
But power steering systems.
Wasteful.
Oh, that's right. You didn't use power steering. Okay.
It's wasteful. It's adding weight to the car. It's taking power off the front of the motor.
I think
an automatic transmission. The torque converter to me is wasteful because it's absorbing power.
I think it just clicked what you mean. Anything that didn't use engine oil was waste. Or gear oil.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It took a minute for me to wrap my head around that, but I get what you mean.
Okay, Mr. Will's Dying Breed Garage. $10. Thank you, brother. You didn't have to send me another super chat. I left a comment on your latest video that if I make it to the No Name Nationals, would you race my 69? No, I will not. 69 Charger against Bottle Rocket for 5 large. Would you want to? All love and respect. With all love and respect, no. I'm going there to race Andy. That's it. I'm literally going there just to race Andy, and then I'm going home. But I appreciate the call out. Thank you for the call out. But no, I'm not. I'm just for the record, I'm not racing anybody in anything other than one run against Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage. One and done, and then I'm out of there. And the reason is, honestly, the reason is I don't want to have to think about anything else. I'm going there. Okay, I'm going there way outclassed. Under very specific rules for that race. Okay, I'm going there to race Andy, and if I take a call out from you or anybody else, it'll take my focus off the job that I have, and the job that I have is to go race Andy. So thank you for the thank you for the call out. I appreciate you wanting to race me, but not at that race. No. Oh wait, there was another one. Jonathan Couchy, tell us about stock eliminated cheater cam. Well, they the only thing that they check on a camshaft is lift, right? For as far as stock eliminator goes. So they're wide open to do anything they want with ramps and whatnot. So it's got to have the stock lift. They don't check for duration. They don't check lobe separation. They don't check anything like that. They check lift. So as long as the cam fits the lift that it's supposed to, everything else goes. That's what a cheater cam is. And by the way, the only reason why I see the thing with the race with Casper goes back at least 2 years now. Okay, because Andy was on his way to race me when he had an issue on his way over, which is why I don't drive anything. It goes on a freaking trailer. And Andy's experience is exactly sums up my reason why just stick it on a trailer and be done with it, right? But Andy was on his way to Tennessee to race me when he had an issue, when something happened. So this has been in the making for a long time. I love Andy. I respect Andy. Casper is just absolutely phenomenal. I love the truck. I love what he's doing. I love everything about it. And this is something that goes back a couple of years, and he and I are going to settle it at the No Name Nationals, and that's it. That's okay. Let's see. Hey, do you want to read some questions?
I can barely see it, but
well, I got to be careful turning it.
Okay.
Because I'll knock out the wire. Okay, how's that?
Yeah, I can read it.
All right.
Let's see.
Let's see if. Wow, it's after 8 o'clock already.
Dang, yeah, it did go by fast. Let's see.
Okay.
What if the coolant was red?
What if the coolant was red?
Yeah, what if the...
Oh, wait, that was a message from Shane. Hang on. Oh, okay, never mind. Okay, it's just Dallas. Dallas gave me instructions on setting up the motor stand, the run stand.
Thumper, the sweaty fat guy, asked if about ladder bars or 4-link, Panhard or Watts link.
Ladder bars for a street and strip type of 4-link requires very specific settings to properly run a 4-link. Is always science. Okay, there's always little adjustments that you need to make. It's going to change from track surface to track surface. It's going to change. All different things are going to affect a 4-link. Plus, it takes a lot of power to work a 4-link. A 3-link is much more forgiving. The 3-link is much more street and strip friendly, and there's very little tuning. A 3-link, you set it up once. Really, you set up a ladder bar once, and you're done. 4-link, you're always messing with it.
Oh, the wrench asks if we drilled the passenger side cam retainer bolt hole for 3/8 and then drill a hole in the bolt to lube the timing chain. Yes, we did.
Yes,
you remember that?
I drilled that.
Yeah, you did because
yes,
we so the factory bolt is supposed to be hollow, and we lost it. So we just took another bolt that you had laying around and drilled a hole in it, and then broke like 3 drill bits in the process.
I didn't break a single drill bit.
I broke a drill bit, and then I went out and bought another pack of drill bits. But yes, we did do that.
John Wilburn says, "Thumper, the sweat fatty." God, that's so appealing. You know what I'm saying? But he's just 18 subs away from 500, right? Get this guy his 500 subs. I mean, he needs it. He's fat and sweaty. Oh God, bad imagery, man. Let's see.
Tony's gonna use a 300 shot of nitrous.
I might. Mr. Will's Dying Breed Garage. It's all good, Tone. Again, just the honor to race you, not to show you up. There's nothing about it. Bro, if you beat me, it's fine. I have no ego. I I literally have no ego. If you beat me, awesome. I'm going to try my hardest. I'll cheat. I'll lie to you. You know what I mean? No problem. And if you beat me, I'm okay with that. You know, like I don't have a problem with it. It's hard to explain. So no, I don't take it as an insult or a challenge or anything like that. It's don't stress it. But thank you for the call out. Like I says, I'm only going to this event. I don't go to events, right? I don't go anywhere. I don't like going to events. So I'm going there specifically to race Andy, and I want to focus on just racing Andy.
Is Crown Royal antifreeze?
In some cultures, yes.
It won't freeze. I mean, you'd have to get it pretty cold. So, but as far as transferring heat, I don't know.
Okay, this is the second or the third guy who's pointed this out.
Okay.
Ronald Pierce, did you see the UFO in your noodle scooter video? I did not, but you're a few people have pointed that out. If you would, where was his name? Where is he?
Pretty sure that was John. Oh, the ship, not the alien.
Ronald Pierce, did you see the UFO in your noodle scooter video? Ronald, do me a favor, if you would please, I'd appreciate it. Would you post a timestamp of that so I don't have to watch the whole freaking video and look for a flying saucer? Could you just post a timestamp where that is, and we'll look it up on our phone over here. Danny Boyd says it was Buff piloting that craft. Yes, it could have been. It's DD Speed Shop, looking good Dallas. Dallas has been on a extremely tight regimen.
Anti-diet,
right? And he's filling out nicely.
Mm-hmm. My voice also changed.
What was this now? Tom Hughes. Good night, Tom. Travis Mopar Garage just hit 400 subscribers for the No Name Nationals.
Oh, what's up, Travis?
Okay. Ronald Pierce, I believe it is at 8:44 and is about 30 seconds. All right, here, you keep them busy for a minute.
Okay.
8:44.
If I just read you questions I can't answer.
Sure, you could do whatever you want.
Eric's asking, where are the rest of the Junkyard Jet guys? They died. Rest in peace.
Okay. YouTube.
What are Dalton Sweezy ask? What's your opinion on running 93 versus E85?
I don't mess with anything I can't get at the pump. The only fuel I will deal with aside from pump gas, there's only two liquids I will burn, right? Personally, on a personal level, I don't care what anybody else does. You can burn whatever you want. On a personal level, I will only either burn regularly available pump gas, only stuff that you can get at the gas pump. No race fuel, no oxygenation, no gas pump, or nitromethane. I do not want to deal with any other fuel. I don't want to deal with the hassles of the fuel, availability of fuel, cost of the fuel. To me, it's either you get it at any gas pump anywhere, and that's it, or nitromethane. Nothing in between.
That's what I was going to ask, because I mean, E85 is becoming more common at gas pumps, and it's cheaper, but it doesn't give you the same fuel mileage. I guess there's a trade-off.
UTG.
Otto is asking if we'll be cranking and running the Junkyard Jet engine before install. Yeah, we got the run stand here tonight, and we'll be setting it up here in the next few days.
Deborah Morgan, do you advance your camshaft 2 degrees as a rule for higher RPM for most small publics? No, you actually advance the cam to increase bottom end power. You retard a cam for top end power.
Oops.
Okay, 844.
Mr. Will asks, what's my next Mopar? The Jet. I have one that I already love enough to not get rid of. But who knows? Maybe a Dart. And Wayne asks if I got the poly all built. If I got the poly built for the Jet, it's not a poly. It's a Magnum. I got a poly in my Plymouth.
Oh, okay. No, that's not a flying saucer. That's not a UFO. I had a GoPro mounted I had a GoPro mounted on the speedometer of the bike, and the GoPro was facing the sky, and that's just a reflection of something off of it. No, that's not a flying saucer. Trust me, that's just a weird reflection off the GoPro. Probably a reflection off one of the mirrors on the bike, the sun and the mirror, and okay.
It says Travis says to get an Aspen. Aspens are cool. They're just I don't ever see any of them. Oh.
Zero. Oh, hey, Zero, what's happening, man? Hey, Zero won. He won.
He won.
He won.
He won.
You won, man. You got it.
I don't know what you won.
What do you mean? I don't know what he won. It's Zero. He won your Coke. He won the Coke.
All right, it'll be in the mail.
Yeah. He'll get this in the mail to you. It's fresh. He just opened. I watched him open it. He only consumed just about half.
Yeah.
So Zero, congratulations, brother man. We'll close this up tight, and we'll get this in the mail to you tomorrow.
I guess. Can I drink it first though?
No.
What?
No. This is Zero's prize.
Oh.
He won this.
Now it's out of reach.
We'll get that. We'll get that. Well, because you're gonna drink it. That's Zero's. He won that.
Okay.
Yeah. Congratulations, brother man. Good work this time. I'm as always.
I'm really thirsty.
All right. Yeah, DD's Fish Shop. That is a good score. There's waters in there. There's waters in the other studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go grab one water. But that's Zero's.
Okay, I'll get one in a minute.
Yeah.
What? I didn't know there was a competition going on.
It's a live.
Okay.
We're doing a live.
Okay.
Zero. He won
He
the
won
soda.
the live.
He won the soda.
Okay. He won.
Yeah. You are blessed. I definitely, Zero. You're awesome. Let's see. Austin drinks unhealthy things. Well, he does. He does. I'm trying to save his life. Because I'm all about health. Throttle Davidson, go work on the jet. Yeah.
What am I gonna do? It's gonna go on a stand.
Yeah, Zero saying he's been winning for years now. He has.
Okay.
How many things have you won, Zero? We've sent him a lot of stuff. Zero, what is some of the things that you've won on this channel so far? Clean off the body filler and dust on the jet.
Oh, that's gonna be a 3-day job. There's so much on the windshield that it's solidified. Like you can't scrape it off.
You're saying a shit ton. Yeah, but what is some of the, because he's not familiar with the history of all of this. Cheese. Yeah, he won cheese. We sent him cheese.
Cheese?
Yes.
Well, cheese is expensive and it's good.
We sent him Parmesan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Patches, stickers. There was a bunch of food, didn't I sent you pizza too, no?
18 millimeter socket.
Oh, it was a wrench.
Huh?
It was a wrench.
Oh, it was a wrench.
Yeah.
Did you ever mail off that bottle of ketchup?
Hats, lots of hats. Yeah, I think we sent them. Yeah, ketchup. Yep, we sent them ketchup.
Just random stuff.
Pita bread. Yeah, we sent you pita bread.
Pita bread?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, he's won all sorts of things.
Just random stuff just laying around.
Well, there's their prizes. He wins, and we send him the prize.
Okay.
UTG artwork. That's right. Yeah, we sent him some artwork.
No,
he didn't win a Hemi Cuda convertible.
I won that.
Glasses for Lady Zero. That's right. That's right. Yeah, we sent him a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I would think a percentage, a measurable percentage of my income from YouTube has gone into postage,
Dang.
sending things to zero.
We're in the red.
Uh,
Dang, he got pita bread and all I got was his car.
DD Speed Shop. The $1 paint job worked slick on my big block Chevy. You like that trick, right? Ponytail and cigarettes seal the deal.
Pita bread.
Yeah, pita bread. You've never had pita bread?
Did you send it in a box or an envelope?
I don't remember. I don't remember. Hank Hill said $5.
I'll tell you what.
That your dad said $5. Update on my temperature gauge. I tore the instrument panel out with a test light. I got voltage from the gauge. I guess the gauge is broken internally. Update on my temp gauge. I tore the instrument panel out, ripped it out. And with a test light, I got voltage from the gauge. I guess the gauge is broken internally. Do you have a ground? Did you check the ground connection? Because now your other connection now is going to, you get your hot, you found that, that's good. But now the other post, right, is going to be your ground, and that ground is going to go through the circuit board. It's going to go through, pay attention to me, Hank Dad. Okay, Hank Hill, pay attention to me. It's going to go through the circuit board to the plug. From the plug, it's going to go to the bulkhead connector. From the bulkhead connector, it's going to be the pink wire that goes to the passenger side valve cover forward, and right before the alternator, it's going to branch off and get plugged into your coolant temp sensor. So make sure that you've got a ground connection between the coolant temp sensor and that and the gauge itself. And your points of failure could be the pin on the circuit board, the connector at the bulkhead connector, the spade at the bulkhead connector. Yeah, that's really it. Or a break in the wire someplace between that and the sending unit. Okay. See, I took care of your father.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Dang it, Bobber.
That's
I
not
love
your
King of the
purse.
Hill, King of the Hill. It's Austin Stoner. No. This is just me normally.
You had me at pink. Oh God.
The one on my car is purple. And when my coolant temperature sensor, or when my gauge failed, it's that elbow that clicks on.
Yes. Yeah.
That lost connection.
You know, you're right.
Yeah.
It is purple.
Yeah.
It fades to pink.
It's purple.
It's purple. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. It's purple. He's right.
What?
Well, I mean, I could be wrong sometimes. I never get the fucking chance to just be wrong without it being an issue.
Okay.
Thumper, thank you for the super chat. Thanks, John and Fubar. You guys rock. Tony, I want to use part of your live stream from the other day about it being hard to set my idle. May I hit? Yeah, man, go ahead. You don't have to send me any money for that. Just please, feel free. Use whatever you want. Thank you, though.
But no, the little elbow that clicks onto it, like where it lost connection inside of that.
Deborah Morgan, Tony, do you index all of your spark plug gaps towards the combustion chamber? I don't bother.
John did on his Fiero.
Well, I'll tell you, did it make a difference?
I don't know. It's been 10 years since that car was running.
Yeah. So he indexed the plugs and then the car stopped running. 10 years.
No, he parked it because the seatbelt stopped working.
Or that. The only thing I ever index plugs on is naturally aspirated 426 Hemis, and only to face the electrode away from the intake valve. Because during that overlap period, the spark plug is right there exactly in the path between the intake and the exhaust. So the plug will tend to get wet. It'll tend to run a little cooler. So what I'll do is only on normally aspirated, very high performance 426 Hemis, I'll turn the plug. I'll index the plug so that the ground strap is facing the ground strap itself is facing the intake side. So the gap would actually be facing the exhaust valve. That's the only effective. That's the only That's in all the years of screwing around with the stuff. That's the only indexing plug situation I've ever come across that actually makes a difference.
I may be imagining this,
You probably are.
probably, but remember seeing spark plugs that did not have a conventional ground strap, that went over the electrode, but they went straight
Yes.
at it.
Those were Champion racing plugs.
Okay.
Yes.
Then I'm not imagining that.
Yeah, it was a little pin.
Yeah, it's just like it's thin.
Yes, that's a very old school Champion racing plug. Let's see. Hustling hard work. There's a name. Where can I find the aluminum spark plug block inserts on a slant 6225? You're thinking about drool tubes. Those things are called drool tubes. I mean, I'm sure they have an official name, but I don't know where you can buy them new. There's every slant six guy has got like a shelf just overflowing with drool tubes. But that's what you're looking for, and I couldn't tell you where to find them new.
eBay. People put reproduction parts on eBay.
Some outboard plugs have no ground strap at all. Yeah, those are similar to the Champion plugs that he's talking about. Or he might actually be talking about outboard plugs. Let's see. Joe Brennan, what's the most street-friendly Holley 4-barrel carb for a mild Ford FE? How would I can answer that?
650.
Well, I mean, it's not a matter of size. Joe Brennan, W cubic inches, and that's the size carburetor you need. As far as making it street-friendly, that's a matter of tailoring the jetting and that's your fine tuning. But I mean, just the rough answer to your question is W cubic inches. That's the size carburetor you want to go with.
What about secondary style, like mechanical and vacuum?
That's not really a matter of being street friendly. Street friendly is part throttle. When somebody says street friendly, I think of I'm going to drive it to work.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to sit in traffic and all of that. Let's see. Well, probably in 1978 is at 388 subs so far. When we get out of the sleet storm, we'll be making more videos. So Mopar Man 78, he only needs 102 more subs to make it to the No Name Nationals. Mr. Will's Dying Breed Garage, Tone, did you get the piston you need for the 3-3? My friend Eddie Gomez up in New York says that he has a couple of short blocks that have those pistons in them, and he's going to pull one out for me. So I'll follow up with him in the next couple of days if I don't hear from him. But yeah, as far as I know, I think I've got one of those pistons coming. Andy G's Garage, the best street-friendly Holley is an Edelbrock AVS.
Those are great.
I prefer the AFB style. Not that I have anything against the AVS, I just prefer the AFB style.
The AVS 2, though, the one that they released a few years ago, it's a good carburetor.
No, you're right. They are good carburetors. I mean, the front of it is the same as an AFB. It's all in the secondary. That's. Let's see. Mike N, are all big block Mopar valve covers interchangeable? 1962 and earlier big block Mopars have 4 bolts on the valve covers, and 63 and newer have 6 bolts. Uh-oh, 672E Galaxy says, I missed a super chat. Oh, geez. I'm sorry if I missed a super chat. Oh, God, it's a long one. Thank you for letting me know that, though. Why did you let the super chat go?
It was probably when I had my face buried in my own palm laughing.
We see that's why you lose things like your sodas.
What?
Okay. There you go. Freddie left you. I'm so sorry we missed that. Thank you for the super chat. I bought what I was told was a Chevy 406. After tearing it down, we found Pistons marked 979P. Traced them back to Ertl. Does it seem I only have a 400? God, Freddie left you.
Ooh.
That is such a vague question, bro. A Chevy 406.
What does Ertl mean?
Or I
Is
guess
it an acronym?
Manufacturer. Traced them back to Ertl. The Pistons marked 979P. Does it seem I only have so okay? The Pistons are all right. So the part number of the Pistons is 979P. If they were oversized, it would be like 979P dot 010020030. You know, the oversized. And if you don't see an oversized stamped on the Piston, then it's safe to assume that the standard bore. So that 406 is probably a 400. Is probably a standard bore motor. Get a cheap caliper and measure the bore, and that'll tell you what you have.
They may just be aftermarket Pistons.
Andy G's Garage, a 406 is a bored out 400. So say that. Well, that's what I'm saying. Just measure the bore. But generally, if you an oversized piston will always have the oversized stamped into the top of the piston. So if you don't see an oversized number, if all you've seen is just a part number with no oversized next to it or below it, then it's standard. It's a standard bore piston.
Fritz Caddy says, "Will the junkyard jet run on propane products?" Yeah, sure. Why not? It's efficient.
DBC 105. Tony, can you put a compression gauge on the 3D3 once you put it together so we can see the cylinder pressure it builds? It's sure, I guess. I mean, just remind me. I mean, when we get there, remind me. Rider of a Pale Horse here. Any news on your next open house? I want to visit, but do not want to take time from your business. We probably won't do one. I've become such a radical recluse in my YouTube isms now that I avoid even getting out of the car to pump gas. It's really weird. So I probably won't be doing that. Let's see. Going to need some propane and propane accessories.
I mean, it'll have a bottle in it.
You should represent me.
What?
You're my official representative.
Okay.
I authorize you to be Uncle Tony.
Oh, okay.
Out in the.
I'll just need to borrow your glasses.
Yeah, no problem.
And your dart.
Take it.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh God, I can't see anything. Oh.
So he'll be making the official appearances. If he decides that he wants to do an open house, you'll do an open house
in my driveway.
In his driveway,
yeah, of course.
Yes.
Okay. That would be fun though. Not in my driveway.
Uncle Tony's Recluse Garage. Listen, I'm not. I don't put any fronts up. Okay, I'm as honest as honest can possibly be. Right. I don't want. I'm a recluse. I am a recluse, and I just want to stay that way. All I really want to do, I just want to ride my motorcycle. I just want the weather to get nice, and I want to get on my motorcycle and go for a ride. That's really all I want to do. I don't want to make public appearances. I don't want to go to events. I don't want to sign autographs. I don't want to do anything like that. You'll do all those things.
Okay. I've done public speaking.
He needs to have. Yeah, but we'll hook him up with everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, the weather is not already nice here though. That's what Thumper. It's pouring down rain right now.
Lucas Townsend, I don't like humans either. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. I love humans. I don't like. I'm in the wrong business. I'm seriously in the wrong line of work. Right. It's not that I don't. I adore humans. You know. But I just don't belong out with them. Does that make any sense? Is Austin Italian? He's not, but he's
I'm
had
French.
garlic. You've had garlic.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like pizza.
He likes pizza.
Mhm.
What else?
I'm French. That's close.
Close. It's
Yeah. It's about 2 hours from
yeah.
Italy.
He's only 2 hours from being
Yeah.
Italian.
I'm 2 hours away from being Italian.
Mike, great. Thank you for the super chat. Building a Slant 676 Dusted drag car. Cool. How much power can the 7.25 handle? I'm gonna find out.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna find out. I have a 7.25. But here's the thing, right? I have a normally aspirated car with an automatic, and the car only weighs 2,100 pounds. So my 7.25 has a pretty good chance of living in that environment. If you're dealing with a car that's, let's say, 3,000 pounds, and you're going to be throwing like, nitrous or supercharged or turbocharged, anything like that, you're going to find out real fast that it's not going to. I don't think it's going to hold up. And the axles are going to be weak. Like, you can put a spool in it. You can weld up the spider gears. That's all good. But when you get to that higher horsepower level, it's very, very spindly axles. You'll end up breaking one. But I think you'll be okay. I think you'll be okay.
I have heard stories about 7.25 breaking just by letting the clutch out.
I think a lot of that is
Hyperbole.
Hyperbole, yeah.
But I've heard that they are pretty much glass.
Well, no, that's not true. That's not true. The GT,
Mhm.
right, runs 1570s, and it weighs 3,600 pounds. It's a heavy car. It's got everything in it, right?
Mhm.
The console and a bucket seats, all this other shit, right? And it has a 7.25,
Really?
and it never skipped a beat.
Huh.
Kathy's Swinger, same thing. The car is about the same weight, 3,600 pounds. It's got a 360 in it, and it's got a 7.25, but with a sure grip.
Okay, so that makes the difference.
Yeah. Well, the sure grip in that, but the GT is open.
Huh. So I guess it's just a matter of how you treat it.
It's how you treat it. Let's see. An 8 3/4 works well in a light. Oh, hey Franco, what's going on, brother? An 8 3/4 works well in a light car. Well, they work pretty good in moderately heavy cars too. Short faking. I see around a 7.25 brake pulling up in Taco Bell to order. Well, the spider gears go. The spider gears the weak link. And what'll happen is you'll fracture one of the spider gears screwing around or whatever. It won't break completely. And then later on, as you're driving, you're going, and that's actually happened to me. I've had that happen where you're driving along, you make a turn and they go, and then that's it. You stop, right? And the best cure for that, because the spider gears are the weak link on a 7.25, weld them up. If it's a race car, you know what I mean? Or if it's a limited use street car, weld up the spiders, and you're eliminating at least 3/4 of the liability of a 7.25.
I don't know. A 7-layer burrito is pretty heavy. So
A which?
7-layer burrito from Taco Bell is pretty heavy.
Well, yeah, that could be an issue. Peter Kovacs wants to know how many helium balloons would it take to lift Austin off the ground in a lawn chair?
The last time I tried to figure that out, I got arrested and I was hit with a humongous fine by the FAA. It was 38, but they were extra large, like weather balloons. And I only made it like a good 60 or 70 feet off the ground.
Doug's maintenance shop. Tony, you should name one of your cars Stugats, like the Sopranos. Jordan Francis, if you did use solids on a hydraulic cam, what would you lash the valves at? I would lash the valves at whatever the cam card calls for. Bill, thank you for the super chat again. I meant for something that I can do anything and everything. I can build different attachments for it. It can be a
the tractor.
The tractor,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay, I meant for something that can do anything and everything. I can build different attachments for it. It can be a bush hog, plow, forklift, dozer, etc.
Something with a PTO.
I mean,
440?
I mean, a carbureted LS would probably be.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
they'll just go.
Yeah, Bill. I mean, seriously, if you take everything into consideration, cost, availability, the ultimate power that you're going to get out of it, the versatility, I would say a carbureted LS would probably be the best overall way to go. I know it's probably not the sexy answer you want to hear. You know what I mean, but then that's just off the top of, you know what I mean. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean 6.0s are just falling out of junkyards. So
Exactly. Okay. Let's see.
the 300 inline six Ford, I love that engine.
They're beautiful.
I have one. It's great. I managed to kill one.
Bob Bump, still worrying about the 9 1/4 behind a big block, seeing horror stories about crushed sleeves. Yep. Getting squashed, effing up gear mesh, and locking up the diff. Real someone going off the deep end. Oh no, the crush collar is definitely an issue, and on those particular rears, I don't know why, but they're definitely an issue. The crush collar. Look into using a crush collar eliminator for a 489 8 3/4. If I'm not mistaken, the shape of the pinion, the size of the pinion is the same. So the crush collar eliminator kit for a 489 case 8 3/4 should work on your 9 1/4. Don't take my word for it. You might want to call, really any of the gear manufacturers and see Jeep people, right? Call around some Jeep people who do rear end work and ask them what they use for crush collar eliminators on that 9 1/4. But that's definitely one of the weak links of that rear. Okay. Mike Batista, what's happening, brother man? That's the copper coat.
Oh yeah, copper coat guy. Yeah.
On the Sled 6 heads, are you using head studs? The steel shim gasket should be fine. No, I'm using bolts. And please, I saw that in the comments. Lots of people are like,
Yeah.
are the bolts bottoming out? Yeah. No, the bolts are not bottoming out. Yeah, I checked before. There's at least a 1/4 of an inch before the bolt would bottom out, right? So no, that's not the issue at all. Let's see. Wheelie King, what's happening, brother? I used to plow snow with a 1/2 tons, crush so many crushed collars back then it wasn't funny. Tires would hit the pavement and bite, a few hard ones and kiss your pinion goodbye. Yep, that's exactly how it works. Let's see. Deborah Morgan, do you guys use Teflon buttons and pistons to keep the wrist pins from digging into the cylinder walls if something goes wrong? Okay, you're confusing two things. Okay, the buttons are used on a floating pin piston where the pin is up in the oil ring. Okay, so when the pin is up in the oil ring, you can't use a snap ring as you normally would. So you use a button, and the button just rides along the cylinder walls. The Teflon buttons are used on the skirts, and that's to reduce friction. So basically, you have a loose fitting piston, but to take up some of that rocking motion, they'll put Teflon. There's only for race motors. This isn't something used on a street motor. They'll put Teflon buttons, usually 3 buttons per skirt. So you've got 2 different things. You've got the buttons that hold the pin centered in an engine where the pin is up in the oil ring. So picture like a really crazy stroker motor, where the pin has got to be up in the rings. So you'll have a button there, and that button will hold the pin, and then you've got the Teflon buttons that they'll stick in the skirts. I hope that answered that. Jack Straw, $5. Jack Straw sent $5.
Thanks.
Thank you. And look, it's even a thing. Critical.
That's a controller.
A controller.
Yeah.
What's that?
You use it to play video games.
Nice. So, I wonder if I could be a video game character. How do you think I'd work out in the metaverse?
I don't know. You could fight Bowser.
What's a Bowser?
You never played Mario?
No.
No? Super Mario? The Italian plumber?
Yeah, I remember, but that was eons ago, man.
Yeah,
Like,
well,
when it
they
first
still
came.
make Mario games.
Okay, but there was no Bowser in there. There
Yeah,
was.
it was the first one.
You sure about that?
Well, if you go back to like the very first one where you're just like jumping over like the barrels, like Donkey
Yes,
Kong, yeah,
yes.
that no, when they did the one after that, that Bowser.
Yeah, no. I go back to Pong.
Pong is fun.
Okay. Wait, what was the other one? Pong, Asteroids,
Asteroids, Defender,
I
Missile
never played
Command.
Defender, Tetris.
Galaga,
Never played that.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man. Yes, I remember playing Pac-Man.
Defender.
Super Mario. I'm going to say the last time I played any type of video game was 1982.
There's a video game, or there's an arcade in Smyrna that has all those old cabinets and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that place is fun.
All right, what did I miss here? Lucas Thompson, eat mushrooms, get big, and smash bricks with your bare hands. Isn't that everybody's life goal?
Pole Position. That was a fun game too.
No, I never played that one.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like one of the first racing games. And it's impossibly difficult.
Bowser used to talk like the Indian. Whatever happened to Indian? There was a guy named Indian used to fabricate all kinds of parts for race cars back up there in New York. John, right? John Morgan, I believe his real name was. I only knew him as Indian, though. Jordan Francis, thank you for the super chat, Jordan.
Everybody keeps asking if these. Yeah, these are Lucky Strikes.
Oh, he passed away. Indian was a big part of that whole scene in the late 70s, early 80s. Okay, Anthony Santiago. Guys, remember the old 1970s drag racing game at the arcades, Clutch and All. Okay, so this is back around 1980. Okay, I'm gonna say it was around 1980. Had to be around 1980, and there was a one of them console video game things, right? And one of them was a drag race. Okay, a drag race game. And I ended up somehow or another, I ended up at a party. Okay? I ended up at a party and I hated everybody who was there. And I hated everything that was going on. Okay?
Sounds like most parties.
Yeah. So I found the console wasn't nobody was at the TV. They were all doing stupid things, right? So I said, I'll just play with this, right? So I'm messing around and I find this drag race game. Okay. So it was a dragster, and you had to keep hitting the joystick. Okay, you had to keep hitting the joystick to shift it, right? And it would tell you shift, right? And you keep hitting the joystick. And the record on this thing was like 6 flat. Okay, whatever it happened to be. So I played with it the whole night, right? Until like everybody was left. I was the last person left at this freaking party.
Sitting there playing Atari.
Sitting there going, pop, 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 right? And I got it down to like a 603 or something. I was close. So now suddenly this person became my friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the next day I show up at their house.
Like,
right?
you're gonna play Atari.
Yeah. That's exactly how it worked, right? Because I was right on the edge. I could beat this thing, right? So I did. I ran like a 586 with it. Like I blasted right past whatever the record was they said on the thing. I blasted right past it and got like a 586. But it was before the internet. It was before anybody cared.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, but I'll never forget that because like it was this whole like just hitting the thing as fast as you could. And
yeah. Well, someone's asking if we did a junkyard jet engine build. No, it just got kind of built over time.
Let's see.
I miss the Atari 2600. I have 3 of them. They have wood paneling on them. You know, the 70s. It was the wood age.
Franco, Tony, when Indian died, he left me his scrapbook, his phone book, and his girlfriend. That's awesome.
What?
That's awesome.
You could write that in a will?
Fuel racers.
Huh?
Fuel racers. You see, that's people don't understand.
Yeah.
People don't understand. Like there's regular people. Okay, today's fuel racers, right? They're like women. Okay, they're like women, right? They're just fast women, but they're women. Okay, you go back to this era, Franco. Okay, you go back to this era when you had these, like real men running these freaking cars. Okay, Iron Men in plastic cars is what it was. Okay, and if you were a fuel racer, right, Franco? If I'm off on this, okay, if I'm off, say so, okay. If I'm off, say so. If you were a fuel racer in the 70s, right, into the very early 80s, you were part of this elite. Okay, you operated at a different level from the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Okay, so there were no rules. There were no rules. There's no right. There's no wrong. There's the world that the rest of the population deals with. Okay, their jobs and their this and this problem and then you're a fuel racer. Okay, and a fuel racer, nothing matters. Nothing matters. The whole world is meaningless. Nothing means anything. And you become part of this fucking elite. Like you're the X-Men of the world of cars. You said, and it doesn't exist like that anymore. Franco, am I right about this? Is this something I'm imagining?
Do you think that's as a result of like safety or like because like back then you could just go out in a ball of fire at any time, right?
You just operated on a different frequency than the rest of the planet. Yes, right? Okay. See, okay, and that's the thing that people miss, man. They don't get it. They don't understand. You had to be there. You had to be there, man. You had to be part of it to really understand what that was like. And you tell people, oh yeah, funny car, right? And they think today. They think the stuff that goes on today, and the type of people and it was nothing like that. It was nothing like that.
When I think of funny car, I think of like the car that like the whole thing lifts up, the whole body lifts off.
That's what a funny car is.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the mentality.
Oh, the mentality.
The mentality.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. The mentality. White punks on nitro. Yep. Franco, Tony, I once told Frank Oglesby, I miss Frank was such a great guy. We would yap every once in a while. We were guys who would work 100 hours a week to keep from getting a real job. That is the God's honest truth.
I completely understand that mindset, though.
That is the absolute truth. Anything to keep from getting a job. Jim Head, nah. I mean, Jim Head was a good racer, but he came afterwards. Let's see. Bear Rose Garage. Thank you for the super chat. $2 for a shout out to John's live this Friday. Oh, okay. I don't know. John Wilburn's live? Okay. Tone, can you tell me the turkey story again? No, I'm not telling a turkey story again.
Oh, that was great. I'll never forget that story. That was the funniest thing I've ever heard.
Let's see. Yes, John Wilburn. Okay, so yeah, John Wilburn's live. So I guess he's going to be talking about nasty Dave Benjamin. Let me tell you something, Franco. I learned Dave Benjamin is the smartest human. Done. Okay, done. Dave Benjamin is too smart to be successful at what he does. Okay, and I know it's hard to explain. Okay, it's hard to explain. Dave Benjamin is the smartest human. All right. Dave Benjamin out tricks himself. He tricks himself out because Dave Benjamin is a rolling experiment. Okay, his life is an experiment. To him, it's not drag racing. Isn't really drag racing. Drag racing is an ongoing experiment, an ongoing thing. You see what I'm saying? And because he never thought of it, he doesn't treat drag racing the way most people treat drag racing. Go, oh, I have to win. I have to get to the other end first. Dave is more focused on creating the perfect nitro burning machine, right? And so he out tricks himself. But in the course of doing these things, in the course of going off on these crazy experiments, it's 3 valves and this injector and that thing, right? When the course of doing all of those things, he created this body of knowledge that's just absolutely like otherworldly when it comes to nitro. I got a great Dave Benjamin story too, Franco. Look ahead, throw yours up there real quick.
There's people talking about the turkey.
You're still talking about the turkey?
Yeah.
There you go, Doug's Maintenance Shop. Tony needs to tell the turkey story every Thanksgiving. I'll tell it one Thanksgiving. We'll sit down and we'll have a telling of the turkey story again.
I know where I'm going to be next Thanksgiving just to hear this story again.
Blue Max and the Mongoose. I told this story before. I don't know if I want to tell the story.
Oh, come on!
It's a different story.
You're such a good storyteller, though.
Hang on, I want to see I want to see Franco's Benjamin story. Yes, there was a motor place in Baldwin Motion.
New York City is such a huge place. How do you memorize where everything's at?
I was born and raised there. It was my home.
All right, but it's so huge. It's gigantic.
It doesn't matter.
I went to Manhattan and it was just overwhelming.
Yeah, see, to me, that's just normal. That's just normal. I used to race there.
You could get away with it pretty easy, I guess. Nashville used to be so small.
A guy once asked Dave Benjamin how to do something. Dave said, "I'm really better telling you what not to do." Dave is okay. So Dave is an interesting fellow, right? So he's been a nitro racer since the 60s. Okay, and he experiments, always experimenting, right? So as a result of this, he spent much time on fire. And he spent much time like in various burn units and whatnot. Thank you, Lloyd Walker. Small block LA build, 340, 360 starting point. 360, much easier, much definitely cheaper to go with. 340, better motor, better combination. It's the magic combination. So you got pictures now, right? This was in 1992, 1983, right?
Just real quick, is being on fire just a characteristic of drag racing?
Well, remember I said if you were fuel racer from that era,
Yeah.
okay,
Okay. Yeah.
you have a different you operate in a different reality.
Yeah.
Yes, being on fire was completely normal.
Okay.
Okay, that's just part of it. You just accept the fact that
You
you're going
might
to be on fire.
fire.
No, not you might be.
You are going.
You
to be
are
on
going
fire.
to be on fire. You are going to spend time in the burn unit. You are going to, you know what I'm saying? It's just that just goes with the territory, and you fucking charge forward anyway.
I'm adding a suit to the list of parts. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to derail your story.
So Dave has had some like really horrendous accidents, right? Incidents, and he's much older now. He's probably close to 80 now. Okay, but back in the day, you could spot Dave from across the room because he looked like a raccoon. you look like a fucking raccoon. Because around his eyes was all scar tissue, right?
Because the goggles.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and actually, what happened was he had ski goggles. He couldn't find the real goggles, right?
Yeah.
Something happened with his real goggles, and he needed to buy a pair of goggles real quick. So he went and bought goggles, but the goggles didn't have the metal in the elastic.
So
okay,
they
like a spring.
They would.
So when the car burned, right away it burned the goggles off.
Yeah.
So at any rate, so I'm with it was 1993. Okay, so at the time I had a AA fuel altered, and I was partners on a top fuel car, and I was hanging out with Nitro Neil Bisaglia. He was from Kenosha, Wisconsin. He had a nostalgia top fuel car.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he wanted to build a fuel altered. So. Oh, go with the 360, cheaper and easier, 340, better motor. Thank you again for the super chat. So we're at a convention. I forget what it was. It was a PRI show. We're at the PRI. It was at SEMA. It was either SEMA or PRI. I don't remember, right? So we're at this table. So there's Dave Benjamin sitting here, okay? This is the first time I met him, right? Mm-hmm. So Dave Benjamin is sitting here, and Ron Fassel, another fuel alter guy, is sitting here, and I'm sitting here, and they're older. They're like in their 50s, right? 60. Okay, and there's me and Nitro Neil. We're both in our early 30s. Okay, so we're looking at our future, right? So here's our
see future. A parallel here.
Here's our future, right? These two old guys, right? And they look rough. I mean, they're like, you think I look at, no. I mean, I got scars and shit. No, that's nothing, right? These guys look fucking rough. So Neil and I are sitting across from each other like this, and these two guys are there, and we ordered our food, and we're sitting, we're eating, and they start telling stories. So I don't remember which one started it, right? So it was like, the first one, it says, yeah, I had that happen. Burned everything off I had to burn my suit off, my fingers. Right. So the other one goes, oh yeah, I had a fire like that once. And they're going back and forth. Wait, so they're one upping each other, right? So then Dave goes, oh yeah, that's nothing. I had to have my eyelids rebuilt. It's like.
How do you do that?
6 weeks with no eyelids. They had to rebuild everything, right? So then Ron says, that's nothing. I died, right? They pulled me out of the car. I had no pulse. I had inhaled all kinds of fire and stuff like that. I was dead. I was out, like I was done, right? And they revived me on the way to the hospital. So and Neil and I are sitting here looking at each other like,
oh God, what are we doing?
This is what we're signing up for. So Dave goes, yeah, bro, I died twice. I died at the track, and then I died again at the hospital, right? You can't make this stuff up.
You're not.
You can't make this stuff up, right? And then they're going back and forth, and then after he said that, right? Dave looks at me, he goes, he just stopped. He just looked at me in the eye and he says, don't ever be afraid to die.
At that
just
moment,
like that.
At that minute, the fear gripped.
And that for the rest of my life, if I don't care how long I live, I will never forget that. He just pointed, he just looked at me and just saying, and don't ever be afraid to die.
You might. But when you can rate the fires you've experienced on a 1 to 10 scale, You've lived.
Oh,
Can you leave a Yelp review of being on fire?
it just comes with the territory.
Fire was hot. Parking was terrible. 2 stars.
But that's what I mean about fuel racers. Old school fuel racers are a different breed. They're just a different breed of fucking human. They don't, you know what I mean? It's like you can't look at the people who race these cars today or the culture that revolves around them today and have any idea of what it was actually like. You know what I mean? And what these people were actually like.
I can say I probably do not have the guts to willingly set myself on fire.
I mean,
It's
most people don't.
yeah.
But you see, here's the thing: those cars, that culture, those cars took so much effort because nobody was a millionaire. You didn't have wealthy people running these cars. They were like regular people running these fucking cars.
Yeah.
They were just hot rodders that had just gone there. You know what I mean? It's like, people have limits. They have boundaries. How far you'll push yourself, how much you'll do. Okay. Well, to be a nitro racer, to be a fuel racer in that era, in the 60s, the 70s, into the very early 80s, you had to have no boundaries. There had to be no limits. You were just going to go. Whatever it was going to be, you were just going to fucking go.
Yeah.
And so that was the culture. And that was completely different than what you have today. Now it's just billionaires pissing money and just squirting down the track and smiling and talk about the sponsors, right? As opposed to Dave Benjamin and Ron Fassel, who are like, don't ever be afraid to die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's about money.
Franco, yep, you got to like bologna sandwiches for breakfast. Well, it's feast or famine, man. It's feast or famine.
I don't like bologna.
DOA, what about the guys that sat on top of the differential with the transmission between their feet? I did that.
Oh, I've seen those. That looks like a death machine.
I had one of those. Doug's Maintenance Shop, they say one fueler run is a minimum of $100,000. That's probably about right. When you amortize all the costs involved. Now, when I got out of it in the middle 90s, the late 90s, it was a budget operation like ours cost us $1,000 a run. Every time you pointed the car at the finish line, it was $1,000. So that was amortizing all of the various costs. So the tire wear, clutch wear, oil, fuel, spark plugs, blah, 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 right? It averaged out to about $1,000 a run. The hitter cars at the time, like John Force, Kenny Bernstein, those guys are out around probably $8,000 or $10,000 a run. And the difference between what they were running and we were running was about 0.3 of a second. Let's see. I think I've lost the audience.
Whoops.
I would give anything to go back to that. If I could turn back the clock, man, and go back to like 1980.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just to have that experience again. You know what I mean? That because
I don't even know what it felt like. That was my reason for getting into 60s cars, because experience something I never experienced.
We caught a window in time. Yeah, exactly, bro. I gave up trying to explain what it was like to people. You know what I mean? I just because it's like they just don't get it. There's just no way to explain the way things were, the mindset, the mentality, the people, the cars. Just the tune-ups. You remember the Star Wars tune-up, bro? Do you remember? So there was before the current technology. Okay, but the technology that these cars use today came into existence around 1985, 1986.
Mhm.
Okay, previous to that, nitro cars were run lean. They were run on the lean side. Okay, so there was a tune-up. It was the Star Wars tune-up. It was 68 degrees of lead in the mag, 100% in the tank, right? 430 gear.
What's the lead in the mag? Oh, Magneto.
Advance.
Oh, okay.
Advance, right? But basically, it was a bomb. Okay.
Oh,
it was a bomb. You watch. See, they weren't nearly as fast as today's cars. Today's cars are as fast as they are because they lay down the power very smoothly. Okay, but there was no concept of that back in the day.
it was
Okay.
just go.
Yeah, because it is smooth. We did okay. There was no understanding of burning huge amounts of volume. And Dave Benjamin, you go back to Dave Benjamin. Dave Benjamin was the guy who turned me on to this, right? Or the concept of it. And I applied it all through my life and it works, right? But there was no concept of pressure spike. Okay, there was no concept of pressure spike and how that pressure spike transferred through the drivetrain. So once that was understood and taming the car down with a rounded pressure spike, combustion pulse, right? A smooth combustion pulse. Once that was understood and the lockup clutches came into being and throwing all that volume of fuel to keep things soft, that's when the cars really started to go fast and smooth. But previous to 1985, that wasn't understood. So violence was the way to go.
Yeah.
Okay. And so nitro cars from the late 70s, the middle 70s, up until about the middle 80s, a 10-year period, were the most insanely violent things you can't even fucking comprehend. I mean, they were set on kill every pass. Your tune-up was not right. So at the end of the run, okay, you pull the plugs, okay, your tune-up was not right if you could identify it as a spark plug.
Because they melt.
They would be obliterated.
Yeah.
Franco, do you remember this? Am I making this up? Right? Am I imagining things? You pulled your plugs out. If it even looked like a spark plug, if you saw any semblance of a ground strap or an electrode or ceramic, that cylinder wasn't working.
Huh. I would.
That cylinder wasn't working. It would happen fairly, not frequently, but it would not be unusual sometimes for a mag to go out, transformer would shake off the car, but the car would keep running. Like it would still make a clean pass, but there wouldn't be fire out of the pipes.
Yeah.
But it would still run the same numbers.
Yeah.
Because we're running off the glow plugs that were.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I think that's still a thing, though, isn't it? Like dragsters, like they melt the plugs and it pretty much runs like a diesel.
Heat equals horsepower. Yeah, 5 rings of heat and nothing up top. If it looks like a spark plug, you failed. It's just craziness.
Could you take one of those engines and like drive it normally?
No. There was idle
and wide open.
That's it. Tony remembers tube tops. Yes, I do. Franco, I would give anything to go. Just 1 year. Give me 1 season of that. Let me go back to that for 1 year, and then that's it. I'd be happy. I would lay down and drop dead a happy guy.
I mean, couldn't you build one now for fun?
It's not the same. It's not the same. Because you have to be in that environment
where everybody else is
doing the same thing, and it's life and death, blood and guts, just like go. You see what I'm saying?
There should be a club.
There is a club. It's a quiet one.
Yeah.
We can identify each other.
Yeah. Because I just want to see that.
Well, you can. There's videos of them.
No, it's in person.
All right. We're over the 2-hour mark. We're over the 2-hour mark. Guys, I'm packing it in. We're done. We made it through a whole show.
Oh,
And then some.
4 minutes extra. You said 2-hour mark. Sure you don't want to tell a turkey story?
No turkey story now. No turkey story now. All right. Guys, that's it. Listen, no name nationals, right? John Wilburn. John, when are you having your live? And see, I get this. Once you get me in this freaking nitro zone, okay, it's like that's it. I can't think of anything else. So like now I'm all right. Jeez. So yeah, John Wilburn, right? He's doing a live on the No Name Nationals. Okay, everybody contributed to Super Chat. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it. It keeps the wheels turning, keeps the bills paid, keeps us moving forward. Everybody contributed just with your conversation and your presence. Eternally grateful for that. You are part of the best community, automotive community on YouTube. Period. The end. You guys are awesome. You are the elite. Our mods, Fubar, John, Ari, Zero. We'll get this in the mail to you tomorrow morning. And it'll still have fizz. It'll get you. No, it's zeros. It'll still be fizzy. It'll still have fizz, bro. And that's it. I'm out of here. This Saturday night, 7 o'clock or so Central Time, we'll start on the live motor build. So please join us for that. And that's it. We're out of here, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. So say goodbye.
See you tomorrow.
All right. And end stream and boom, we're out.